Hello, and welcome to our recent graduates panel as part of this year's Trinity Open Day. My name is Megan Donaldson, and I'm with the Alumni Office here at Trinity. In this session, we'll be talking to some of our recent graduates about where a Trinity degree can take you. We'll hear from them about their Trinity experience, what they've been doing since graduation, and where they'd like to go next. So I'd like to introduce you to our speakers. We have Kenny Olenigi, who studied law and business and graduated in 2019 and is now campus programs coordinator at City. Sinead McAleer, who graduated from computer science and business in 2020 and is now markets analyst at JP Morgan Chase in London. Oren McVeigh Keeling, managing director at Keeling's Court Management Company, who studied management science and information systems studies and just graduated this year. So congratulations, Oren. Anya Rose Tucker, a 2019 economics and social studies graduate who is now working in New York as a senior consultant at EY. And finally, Hayley Dixon, another 2020 computer science and business grad, who's now an account executive at the consulting firm 150 Bond here in Dublin. So I'd like to start off by asking our alumni panelists about their experience at Trinity. What attracted you to study here, and what did you enjoy most about your time at Trinity? So let's start with Anya.
Yes, thanks, Megan, and hello to all the prospective students. Hopefully, maybe you'll be sitting on an alumni panel like this one day. So what initially attracted me to Trinity kind of was built up over the years. Despite having an extremely Irish name, I have a very American accent because my parents emigrated over to America back in the 80s. So I spent my childhoods going back and forth to Ireland and going to Dublin and seeing Trinity and always being like, I'd love to go there one day. And the opportunity arose for me to, do all of my college applications. I decided I'd take a little leap of faith and put Trinity down on the list. And lo and behold, got in, and much to everyone's shock, decided to leave America and go back to Dublin, back to my parents' home to study in Trinity. So what really attracted me to studying in Trinity from, the actual academic side was the opportunity to go straight into a field of study that I really wanted to go into and not mess around with doing core curriculum classes or general education classes like studying biology when I really wanted to do economics, which is usually the case in American colleges. So by the end of my 4 years at Trinity, I had, far more in-depth knowledge of economics and business, which is what I ended up specializing in. And then I loved my Trinity experience. And, apart from the academics, which I found incredibly interesting, my favorite thing about Trinity was genuinely the people from your classes. And, you're dealing with incredibly intelligent individuals who really get you thinking deeply and, in different ways, but then also the people that you share passions with that you meet by joining clubs and societies. And they're the ones who inspire you to take what you've learned outside of the classroom and actually put it into practice. So some of the girls I played soccer with at Trinity are still some of my best friends.
Thanks, Sonia. I think clubs and societies are going to be a recurring theme today. Kenny, how about you? What attracted you to study here, and what did you enjoy most?
So my journey to Trinity started with the Trinity Access Program. So in my final year, when I was applying for colleges, I applied through the CAO, and I didn't get my first choice. So I had applied for the Trinity Access Program, which is a 1-year course where you do a bunch of different subjects, and then provided you pass the year and you get a good grade, you get into a 4-year full-time degree in Trinity. So yeah, I sort of really enjoyed that year. I studied a load of different subjects, including law. And so I decided to do law and business with my best friend and that year. And yeah, we wanted to become the next Harvey Specter and Mike Ross, which we tried, but I don't know if we're succeeding. But yeah, so that's how I got into Trinity. And then what I enjoyed most about it was, I suppose, just the people. I loved sort of going into college every day and sort of meeting new people, new faces, and joining different societies and working with different societies. And that's where I really sort of felt most at home in society work. And yeah, so that was my experience, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you, Kenny. How about you, Oren?
Yeah, thanks for the invitation to talk to prospective Trinity students. I think the primary reason I decided to study at Trinity was due to my course. I myself attended Trinity Open Day 5 years ago now, and I attended my course presentation, and it really sold me. And from then on, I knew I wanted to attend Trinity. In hindsight, I think other good reasons that I'm thrilled that I studied at Trinity would be the diversity and caliber of students. I think that really drove me to do better in my studies and also my activities outside of the classroom. And what I enjoyed most, well, I think immersing myself into lots of different activities via the societies and just having good fun with friends for life.
And it's a great community here at Trinity, and you do make friends that will stay with you forever. How about you, Sinead? What was your experience?
Yeah, so what similar to Oren, what attracted me to Trinity at first was the course. And actually, anyone at this open day is doing a lot more research than I did before I came to Trinity. I didn't really know much about it. I didn't really know what to expect, but I really liked the sound of the course. I'm from Northern Ireland, so most people follow the UCAS UK route. So at this stage, there wasn't many people before me from my town or school who had went to Trinity. But I was delighted when I came to Trinity to find that the campus life that you have at Trinity is very unique. So the campus, you can walk from one end to another in 15 minutes. There's a relatively small student body compared to other universities across the UK and Ireland. So those are two things that make it a lot less daunting, especially if you're coming from a smaller town or a smaller secondary school. It's a lot less daunting and can feel a lot more collegiate when you feel part of like a more tight-knit community. Along with that campus life, you have the halls of residence, either in Trinity Hall in Dartry or on campus in later years, and those things really make a difference and can really make you feel like you're part of the community. And for me, that was by far the highlight of the college experience, was being part of a place where you can really get to know people and get to find your own group of friends very easily in such a small set campus.
Thanks, Sinead. Finally, Hayley, how about you? What attracted you to Trinity and what was your experience like?
I think initially, like you guys, I went to lots and lots of open days. And for me, Trinity just stood out above the rest. It had a really, really great selection of courses. And then also for me, it just already from day one seemed like it had a great kind of global network, which you can even see in this call. But the opportunities to study somewhere else for a portion of your degree is something that Trinity really stood out to me with. So be that for one semester or for a full year. So I did my study abroad in the University of Sydney, which was just an amazing experience. And I think was probably one of the things I enjoyed most about Trinity. And I went over with a group of Trinity students and we just made such amazing friends. I didn't even know them before, as well as the friends I made in the course. And being able to study something that was across two schools as well, kind of traditionally isn't as available. So I thought that was really amazing for Trinity as well.
Thanks, Hayley. I'm delighted you had such a great time in Australia. It's an amazing experience to be able to study abroad. So the title of this talk is Where a Trinity Degree Can Take You. And who better to ask than our wonderful panel of recent alumni. So Kenny, you studied law and business. Would you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now?
So at the moment, I'm a campus programs coordinator, which at Citibank. Basically, what I do is support and coordinate with the program managers to run their graduate programs across EMEA. I sort of got into this space because I did a graduate program myself. I did a graduate program with Vodafone down in Dublin. I really enjoyed it. One of my rotations was recruiting graduates for the future programs. So I really enjoyed the space, really enjoy working with grads and young people and students to give them opportunities. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing at the moment.
Thanks, Kenny. Anya, same question to you. You studied economics and social sciences. Where has that taken you?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to stay in Dublin post-college and joined up with the EY graduate consulting program in 2019. I was placed into their technology consulting practice. So I worked there for just about 2 years and recently moved with EY over to the New York office in July. And I'm still doing technology consulting and just happen to be in New York now. So it's been a very cool experience. I obviously come from quite a non-technical background studying economics and social studies. and find myself working in technology consulting, but very transferable skills. And I've learned a lot in the span of 2 years, and I'm excited to kind of see where consulting takes me next.
Fantastic. So we've been in Belfast with Kenny, New York with Anya, and bring us back to Dublin. Hayley, can you tell us a little bit about your work with 150 Bond here in the city?
Yes, absolutely. So I work with 150 Bond, and we provide high-level strategic advice to C-level executives. So it's comms for tech, and we're all about explaining complex problems at kind of the crossroads of business and computer science. So I get to use both portions of my degree, which I find really unique and really great. I work internationally, so across borders. A lot of the companies that we work with will be based, in New York or in Asia or in the UK, and we work on their global communications. I work with amazing colleagues who are consultants from multidisciplined backgrounds. So it's always new and exciting. There's always someone that you can ask internally as well as searching externally for answers. And like Anya, I will actually be going over to New York soon with my company. So excited to connect with her over there because I know there's a great international Trinity network as well.
Thanks, Hayley. So at Trinity, we recognise that your time at university is made up of so many different experiences, not just lectures and coursework, but also joining clubs and societies and even work experience, not to mention all the connections that people have mentioned that you make during your time here. So in and out of the classroom, how did Trinity prepare you for life after graduation? So Oren, would you like to jump in here?
Sure. Well, I'm not long graduated, so I'm not sure how best placed I am to answer this question, but what I would say is I think that I've developed immensely throughout my time at Trinity. And that's through a diverse range of challenges and experiences, whether that be through my academics, societies, or other life events. And I would say, and I think it's a testament to Trinity, that I feel very confident that I can make a positive impact in the workplace right from the get-go.
I'm glad Trinity was able to do that for you. It's a great place to learn who you are and what you can do. Sinead, how about you? Were there challenges you encountered or experiences you had that helped prepare you for what you've faced so far, either in moving to London or more generally in the workplace?
Yeah, well, I would definitely say that, completing any degree is definitely going to be hard work. So that's the first thing Trinity teaches you is how to manage your time, how to know your weaknesses, know your strengths, and use that to get work done and get you through the degree. It is 4 years of sometimes you will be stressed and under workload, but what they teach you is how to get through it and how to get results that you're proud of and that you can really stand behind at the end. So that's one thing that is really important to learn before you go into the workplace. Another thing is, for myself, my degree had a lot of emphasis on coursework, as I know a lot of the degrees in Trinity do, and also you get to work with a lot of people through clubs and societies. So in both of those situations, whether in the classroom or in clubs and societies, you're working with people from a totally different range of backgrounds, totally different skill sets, from different walks of life, and sometimes with different opinions or mindsets than yourself. And often that can be a challenge. But it is the reality of the world outside of university as well. So getting to kind of go through all those learning curves of how to work with people and how to reach common goals when there's conflicting points of view is a really important thing to learn. And it's great to get to learn that in the kind of insulated environment of inside the walls of Trinity. And I don't think anyone would say that they haven't taken what they've learned about teamwork out into the working world with them after Trinity. So whether that teamwork is learned in coursework or in clubs and societies, I think that's definitely something that really stands to people after they graduate.
Yeah, thank you, Sinead. I can see all of our panelists nodding their heads along with that one, so I'd say they agree. I suppose the natural step after where you are now is where are you going to go next? What do you see as the next step in your career? So how about you, Kenny? Where are you going after this to become the next Harvey Specter?
I don't know about that, but yeah, we'll try. I suppose for me at the moment, I really enjoy the space I'm in now. I really enjoy sort of campus program management, working with grads and young people, as I said. So I would love to continue to sort of work in this space, hopefully progress to managing my own programs and sort of tailoring programs for future grads, and then even possibly might even go into recruiting with the business. So at the moment, City has a lot of opportunities. So I'm definitely exploring my options, both domestically and internationally.
Thanks, Kitty. I'm sure whatever opportunities come your way, you're going to thrive. How about you, Anya? Will it be New York for the foreseeable future? Will you join Sinead over in London? Or will you come back to Dublin or head somewhere new? What's next for you?
Yeah, that is the $1 million question, Megan, for sure. I really don't know where the future is going to take me, but I'm very excited to see where I land in a few years. I've had the great opportunity with, the foundation of a Trinity degree to work in Dublin and now in New York, and just seeing where a lot of my friends and classmates have ended up just in the, 2 short years since we've left college, and the things that they've achieved. It's incredibly inspiring. And then beyond that, to meet alumni, especially alumni in New York, and see what they're now doing with their careers, be it they moved here straight after college or they're just moving here and becoming, a CEO, in the later parts of their careers in New York. It's incredibly inspiring to see where a Trinity education degree and the network can take you. So I'm not too sure where the future is really going to take me. I'm still trying to figure all that out as a 25-year-old, but I know and have confidence that, the foundation of a Trinity education is really going to take me very far.
Thanks, Anya. I'm definitely excited to see what you all do next. It's going to be very interesting, I'm sure. Finally, I'd like to ask, what advice would you give incoming students? What would you like to know, or what is one thing that you think they should definitely do when they're at Trinity? Kenny?
I suppose the one thing I would say is sort of, I think everybody will echo this, where join societies and really just get involved. I think for me, societies was the chance I got to sort of really hone my skills, especially my social skills, and sort of really make my friends that I have now that are my friends for life. And it really did pique my interests as well. And interests that I have outside of workplace now were started when I joined Trinity and joined different societies and stuff like that. So definitely get involved, try and join as many societies as possible, and really find your niche and find what you like and what you enjoy, because that'll stand to you going forward.
Thanks. And Anya, how about you?
Yeah, so I think the COVID-19 pandemic has really put things into perspective for me about my college experience and what a college experience should mean for anyone. So I'm lucky enough that I had 4 years of uninterrupted time at Trinity and was able to get an in-person graduation. And I completely acknowledge that, the graduating class after me missed out on some of, the best times of their life, finishing up college, getting an in-person graduation. And, students here today are probably thinking, gosh, I'd never want to go onto a Zoom lecture ever again. And just really puts everything into perspective. So my advice for all these incoming students to Trinity is to really just take the opportunity and the experience by the reins and just go for it. Hopefully you will be in person, you will be wandering around campus, you'll be in your lectures and experiencing kind of the amazing community and atmosphere that Trinity is. So don't take it for granted. If you've learned anything from the past year and a half is, don't take those in-person interactions for granted. Make those friendships with the people in your course, join your societies and meet people with similar interests to you, and get to know your lecturers. They're sick of teaching over Zoom as well, and they want to interact with their students again. And they're some of the best minds that, exist in Ireland, some even in the world. So utilize them. They'll be dying to speak to you in person and just really have an incredible experience.
Thanks, Anya. I think we're all really looking forward to the return of in-person courses, which thankfully we've got in-person commencements happening this month, and courses are starting to be in person again as well. So that's great. How about you, Oren? What is one thing you think people should do when they come to Trinity?
Yeah, I'd echo what Kenny said. The only caveat I'd give is make sure you're able to balance your time spent doing society work and also your academic studies. I guess another piece of advice I give is that you should really pick a course that you're really going to enjoy, and just don't think about the career path at the end of the 4 years. There are plenty of people that studied non-business degrees that ended up in consulting, law, finance, or whatever else they desired. So studying any degree at Trinity really opens up a whole multitude of opportunities.
Thanks, Aaron. I would have to agree. Hayley, how about you?
I think for me, the main advice that I would love to have given myself would be to break out of your comfort zones really soon, really early on. Make lots of friends, join societies, as everyone else said, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Ask lots of questions to lecturers, other students, the years above you are super useful resource as well. And just to make sure that, you're not doing it alone, because everyone's in it with you. So make sure you're asking everyone around you lots of questions and making lots of friends.
Thanks, Hayley. And we'll wrap up with Sinead. Any advice from Sinead?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to know what to say because I feel like so much good points have already been covered. But I'll just say for myself, what I wish I had known when I was starting was not to stress too much at the start and to focus as much on socializing as on worrying about study at the start. So I suppose the thing is, like, when you come to Trinity, all this might sound great because we've all been through it and we know that that people do get through all the challenges. But if things don't all fall into place on day one and you haven't joined all the societies or made all the great friends that you think you should have at that stage, don't worry, it will all work out. And while the coursework may seem hard, for the first 2 years, just use the time to kind of find your feet and don't worry too much. People do get through it. You will have an amazing experience. So just be patient with yourself, because moving to a new city or a new university is always going to be a challenge. So keep that in mind. While it all sounds great there, it may not all happen at day one, but it will happen, as it did for all of us. So that would be my advice.
Thanks very much. I have to say that was some really excellent advice. Makes me want to start and do my degree all over again, to be honest. Trinity really, really is a wonderful place to live, study and work, and we hope to welcome you on campus really soon. I'd like to say a big thank you to all of our alumni panelists and to all our listeners for joining us today. There's lots of great virtual sessions taking place today as part of the Open Day, from course presentations and chats with professors to current students, as well as virtual tours of campus. So do take the opportunity to check out as many as you can. We hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we will look forward to welcoming you as a Trinity student in the near future. Thanks again for joining us. Take care and stay well.